Everyone, my name is Heba and welcome back. Before I talk about the Byredo Mineralscapes palette, I'll put timestamps down below if you just want to jump to that and don't want to hear this part. But I just want to come in here in the beginning and just say thank you so much. Thank you for all the well wishes. Last week, our 21-year-old cat, Oliver, he just took a turn for the worst and passed away, and we are just all devastated. I mean, 21 years old for a cat. We didn't think he was going to make it this long because there were many times that he did waste several of his 9 lives, but he was, I can't believe I'm saying past tense. He was a one-of-a-kind cat. All of a sudden, he was just not looking right. He was confused, went from one side of the house to the other, and he loved drinking water from the faucet, and he just didn't feel like drinking. And then within a span of 24 hours, he couldn't walk anymore. And before those 24 hours, he was in the backyard, and it looked like he was just trying to find a place to, I guess, just settle in, because cats do that. They always try to find a place away from us when they know that they're about to die. So we did take him to the vet, and his kidney function was just through the roof. He was having kidney failure. So we brought him home, and I had him on my chest the rest of the day, and at night we put him next to my husband and I, and in the morning he wasn't breathing anymore, so he passed away. We've had him since he was born. We had his mother. So he's been with us since day one, and he will be greatly missed. It's just so hard coming home and not seeing him coming out to greet us. It's hard. Luke, our son, Oliver, was mainly his cat, but I think he was more my cat. He loved snuggling up next to us, and whenever I would edit my video, he'd come beside me and just put his head on my hand while I'm playing on my laptop or editing or whatever. And he never got mad. He always wanted to be with us. But 2 days after he passed, the Byredo Mineralscapes palette came in, and I honestly didn't feel like playing with it. Even though it looked so pretty, I just didn't have it in me. 21 years is a long time to have a cat, and it's just no words, actually. And then my eyes were puffy and red. They're still a little puffy, especially down here underneath my eyes. And of course, some tears are messing it up. I'm glad I did this part last after I finished the video. So just keep in mind when I'm applying the eyeshadows that my eyes are still, swollen. They're not as swollen as they were last week, but they're still a little swollen. And I did mention this on Instagram and on the community page, and many of you offered your condolences. I know people would think it's just a cat. He's always a part of us, and he'll always be a part of us. We still have another cat, Zazzle. Sometimes you'll see her right here, but she's on another bed right now. And I'm thankful that we do have another cat, and also 8 chickens. But Oliver, he was a one-of-a-kind cat. I don't think there's any other cat like him, which I know every cat is different. I'm going to miss seeing him. I'm going to miss having him close to me, hearing his loud purr. And in the last couple of years, he couldn't jump high to the counter, so we always had to lift him up so he can drink water from the faucets. But he was able to jump onto the couch and jump onto the chair. I think the bed would have been too high for him, but he still had a little spring in his step up until a couple of days before he passed. And he just turned 21 on April 1st. So he made it to 21st birthday, and we thought he was just going to live for a long time because he made it to 21. But I guess God needed him a little bit more with him than down here. I guess our pets do not live forever. We kind of wish they did, but unfortunately they don't. But anywho, I just want to come on here now and just say thank you for all the condolences, the well wishes, and just to let me know that y'all are here for me. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, that's enough of that, and let's just go ahead and get to the Byredo Mineralscapes palette. Thank you. Let's go ahead and talk about this palette. This is by Byredo, the Mineralscapes palette. You can see that it is a mirrored packaging, and in the video of Will I Buy It, I thought it'd be like a white packaging, but it's the same as the others that he's had. The same mirrored packaging where it does get your fingerprints on it, which is okay with me. Because like I've said many times before, it just shows that it's been used with love. This is a limited edition 18 shade palette, which is inspired by the founder of Byredo, Ben Gorham, his native Sweden, with the natural rural landscape that Sweden has. Cool shades of northern spring colors, serene nudes, glittering stones, rich and velvety deep blues are cut through with silvered shine. This palette has soft, creamy, lightweight second skin texture, which can be easily blended and layered. The creative image and makeup partner Lucia Pica said that Mineralscapes is not strictly about where we came from geographically, it's about something more ancient. our DNA. It's about how landscape and memory have shaped us over millennia. It's a story that starts before and ends after you. This palette does cost $115. I know it's pricey, but you are getting 18 shades in here. It does say that it's sold out on the Byredo's website, but from Suffrages, it still says it's available, and there it's $110. So it's $5 cheaper. But you may have to pay for shipping if you don't have the international yearly shipping fee, which is what I did this year. It's $65 for a year, and you have unlimited free shipping. All right, let's take a look at this palette again. Still kind of clean on my part because I only swatched it, so I was trying to be careful opening it, but we'll remedy that. And then here is the back with the names of the shades. This one does have names on the back of the shades. The one from last year, the Remembrance palette, I liked it because it was just numbered 1 through 18. That was pretty easy. So here's the Remembrance palette. And I also have the one before that, Floral Kalahari. Same packaging, and we'll do some comparison at the end of this video with these palettes. So let's go ahead and open up this Mineralscapes palette. You can see it's mostly cool tone shades. This side being more blues and greens, and this side being more kind of violet, lilac, purples. Let me go ahead and bring you in closer and let's start swatching this palette. All right, let's start with the first row here, and this one's Grounding Skies. Let me put this one way by my elbow. Kind of like blue slate. Next we have Painting Land. That's a pretty green with yellow undertone. Now let's look at this green, Sandstone. Pretty foresty green, kind of like we can find in the fjords, I guess. Next is Rock Bed. Pretty silvery taupe. This one's Mineral. And the last shade on the first row, it's Steel Light. Started the second row is Sunbeam. Probably need to swatch that one again because the problem that I've always had with the Byredo palettes is the packaging. The shades just kind of, I don't know, touch each other. I don't know how to explain it, but I'll show it to you. Like when I swatched Sunbeam, a little bit of this shade went into it. So it's kind of giving off a little bit different shades. So let me just wipe this one off and redo it. And let me just kind of get that blue off. All right, let's try this again. This one is Sunbeam. Yeah, that one gives you the true color now. It's more of a white gold. This is Solar Spark. Next is Pink Flame. Let me get Solar Spark a little bit lower. There we go. This Pink Flame is pretty. Ooh, I like that one. Next is the matte shade, and there's only 2 matte shades in this palette. And this is Sun Dried. Next is Low Tide. Oh, that's a pretty shade too. That is a cool tone purple shade, and I hope some of these cool tone shades won't make it look like I have a bruise on my lids, but we'll play with it and see. And the last one on the second row is Steel Ray. Okay, let's go to the bottom row, Lunar Rhythm. That's a pretty navy blue. This is River Mist. This next blue shade is Matter and Life. It's a bit more of a brighter blue. Next is Blue Dream. Very pretty purple with just a touch of blue. But let's go to the other matte shade, High Tide. And I knew I'd run out of room. Let me put you up here. Yeah, that's a cool tone blue. And then the last shade, Translucent Matter. And let's put you, I guess, by the elbow here. And that's a pretty shade. Very smoothing, but yet has some shimmer to it. Here are the swatches of Mineralscapes. Now let me show you the palette after I swatched it. You can kind of see that the shade just jumps into the next one. Like this one over here, right there. And the matte shades is a little bit chunky when you swatch it, but it doesn't do it when you use your brush, just when you use your finger. And the other palettes do that too. So that's one thing, I guess a con I could say about this palette. Yeah, I did see the matte shade just kind of jumped, just a chunk of it just went on this shade. So yeah, like I said, one con about this palette. So I'm going to do 3 looks, 1 on each eye, and then the third one will be on both sides. So let me see what I could start with first. All right, let's do the blue on one eye. I'm comfortable with doing the blue on one eye. Prime my eyes with the Fenty Eye Primer, and let's go into this cool tone matte shade, High Tide. And let's just place you in the crease. Very pigmented. And I am using the Sonia G Crease Pro brush. Using the reference number 1, let's go into this navy shade. What is it? Lunar Rhythm. And just pack that in the outer corner. Yeah, this one does have a sheen to it, but it's not glittery, so it'll be okay to put it either in the crease or in the outer corner. Let's go with the pink metallic shade on my lid. So let's go into this one here, which is Pink Flame. Yeah, let me just place that here and see how that would look. Oh yeah, there is some fallout. I'm feeling some chunks of glitter coming down. So yeah, there is a lot of fallout with that shade, and with that navy shade, it does kind of go where you don't want it to go. So we need to be careful with that. Glad I'm doing my eyes first in these two looks. Now with the reference number 28, and let's go into this lighter pink shade here, Solar Spark, and place you in the inner corner. I think that's all I'm going to do with that eye. Let me just clean it underneath just to make it look a little bit better, especially with that navy shade there. Now for this eye, let's go with the other matte shade, Sun Dried, and that's why I like the other palette, because it was all numbered. It was very easy to know which shade we're using instead of these names. But let me use the Sonia G Detail Pro, place that in the outer corner, and then bring it in my crease. You know, I like this matte shade better than the other one. The other one is just a little bit too cool for me, so sometimes it can look a little dirty, but we'll still play with it. But this one's very pretty. I could probably use just this shade, be a one and done. Let me go into this pretty purple shade, Steel Ray. Let me just place you in the outer corner here with my finger and bring you in the middle. Why not? Oh, I like that shade. This will also be pretty as a one and done. Let me just use the flat shade brush, the reference number 28, with that same shade, and just kind of bring it more up into my crease, because my fingers just can't get up there. And then let me just blend that out, the crease here. Using the same flat shaded brush, let's go into the shade Mineral. Place you in the center and just bring you into the inner corner. And use the other side and go back into this purple shade, Steel Ray. Just kind of fuse those two shades together. And let me just pack more on the outer corner just to give it some dimension. And I think that's all I'm going to do with these two looks. So let me just kind of clean up, and then we'll do underneath my eyes. For this side, underneath the eye, let's go into that matte shade, High Tide. Place you underneath the eye. Okay, and I do have one of the Byredo pencils, the Kajals. So I'm going to go into this one, Neely Neely, which is a, whoops, I'm left-handed, so it's hard for my right hand, which is a navy pencil. There we go. So I'm going to use that instead of the shade, because I think the shade will just kind of spread out everywhere and make a mess. So I'm just going to use the pencil for underneath my eyes, just in the outer corner here. I think it will look the same. Let me just use that brush and just kind of blend that out. All right, that looks good. I also have another one of his Kajal. This is the limited edition one, Silver Shandi, and I'm going to place this one in the inner corner. Not really good with doing the inner corner here. My eyes just has a funky shape to it, a lot of bags underneath my eyes. But we're going to do it here and underneath. There we go. I think that's all I'm going to do for that one. So let's move to this one. Use the other matte shade, Sun Dried. I really do like this shade. It's very pretty. And let's keep the tradition going using another pencil that I have from Byredo. This one's Bora Bora, and this is a brown shade. Oh, let me swatch Shandi too, forgot to do that. I don't think this one's still available, but the other colors are. So this one's Shandi, Bora Bora, and Neela Neela. I'm gonna use this one right now. And I'm gonna place you underneath and in the waterline. And I'm going to use a black liner on both sides. And this is the new one that I'm trying, one by Lisa Eldridge. And on this side, I'm just going to barely, or I should say, kind of hug the lash line. I'm not going to go too deep, I don't think. Because my eye is still a little swollen here. Well, maybe I go a little bit higher. I do need to be careful because, like I said, my eye is still a little swollen. Okay, maybe I did go a little bit higher, but this look does need it. But let's do it on this side as well. Let's go a little bit higher up here. All right, now let me finish putting the rest of my makeup on, do my hair, and we'll see what the finished looks look like. Here are the finished looks, and what do you think? I'll list everything down below that I use, but I want to show you this lipstick that I'm using, also by Byredo. It's one of the new liquid lipsticks that Lucia Pica also created, but this is shade Space in Between. Just open the box, and then here's what the tube looks like. It's kind of three-sided instead of just a regular circular or square tube. And here is the doe foot applicator. And then here is the shade. It's very opaque, very pigmented, kind of like a rosy pink. And I have lip liner and just this liquid lipstick on, and it's not drying. It's kind of like a moussey texture. I can still rub my lips together without it being drying. Very nice. I don't know if I'll pick more up, but so far as this as a liquid lipstick, it's very comfortable on the lips. Now I don't know how long it lasts, but we'll see during the day. And I'll also write it down below for you guys in the description to let you know how it wears. But let's talk about these two looks. This side with the blue, I think it's very pretty, especially using it as an outer corner shade, and then using the pink shades as my, I guess, my main lid shade. Because usually with blues, you want to go either with golds or silver, or maybe like the lighter blues. I kind of like the blue and the pink together. And then this side, I think I like this one just a little bit better out of these two looks. Love the purple shade, love the matte shade that I used, and then that silver shade in the inner corner. I like this side, it's very pretty. Now we got our fill from these two looks. Let me go ahead and wipe this off and do another look. And I think I may go green this time, maybe. Now for the last look, yeah, I think I may want to try the greens. Yeah, let's try the greens. So let's go into this matte shade, Sun Dried, and let's put you in the outer corner and then in the crease. Yeah, I really do like this matte shade just by itself. It's very pretty, very flattering on my skin tone. Using the Wayne Goss number 18, let's go into this deep green shade, Sandstone. Place you in the outer corner and in the middle. I may use my finger after this. We'll see how using a brush will work. So far, those two shades look very pretty together. Okay, let me use my finger just to see the difference. Oh yeah, there is some fallout when you use your finger. So since I do have a full face of makeup on, let me just pat and rub instead of just patting. Whoop, I just did patting there. I mean, I think those two shades would be perfect, just these two shades. Yeah, that is a beautiful green, very pretty. And like I said, those two shades work very well together. Okay, let's see what else we're gonna use. I'm thinking either translucent matter or let's see, what is this one? Rock Bed. Let's see what they look like. I can't decide. You know what, let me use both of them. I'm gonna use Rock Bed in the right, Rock Bed in the center, and then Translucent Matter in the inner corner. It's just makeup. If it doesn't work, just rinse it off like what I just did with the first two looks. Yeah, there's a little bit of fallout. Now for Translucent Matter, this one, I'm gonna use a small flat shader brush in the inner corner and just kind of fuse those shades together. And using the other side, let me just go back into Rock Bed and again fuse those two shades or three shades together. Okay, now let me go back into Sandstone, the deep green shade, and just kind of build that up in the outer corner. Does my eyes look like the minerals in Sweden there? I could just imagine being in Sweden right now. For underneath my eyes, let's go into that matte shade Sun Dried. Now Byredo does not have a green Kajal pencil, so I'm just gonna go in. You know what, let me go ahead and use this one, which is Painting Land, the lighter green shade. Let me see how that would work underneath my eyes. I don't know if I like that. Can't really see it underneath my eyes. Okay, we'll just make it even and then we'll try something else. Let me just use the brown pencil Bora Bora in the lower lash line and in the waterline. And then black eyeliner on the top, and I'll finish it up with mascara. And here is this finished look. What do you think? Yeah, I still see some fallout here on my cheek from that deep shade, and I think I went a little too much with the mascara, but we'll just try to clean it up as best as I can. All right, what do you think? Yeah, I like this look too. I like this look and the purpley look. The blue one with the pink, that's still a pretty look, but it's not something that I'll do purposely every day. Does that make sense? I probably shouldn't say it that way. I probably need a special look or a special place to go to use that blue look. But this one I could use every day. Even the purple one I can use every day. The golds in here, I mean, we've seen so many golds in other palettes, that's why I didn't use them, but they are very pretty. This one's kind of like a bright yellow. This one really brightened up the look, but I still like this one too, because it's kind of, you know, subdued. Let me just place a little bit more right here, because like I said, many times. My eyes are still kind of swollen, so I just make sure I make it look a little bit even. And of course I got more fallout. And maybe the next time I play with this palette, I like to use these muted purples and this purple shade from the second look. Very pretty. You know, this is a very pretty palette. Even though it's more cool tone, it's very usable. And only 2 mattes, it's still very usable. The only con about this palette, okay, maybe 2 cons about this palette, it's the packaging, because it's kind of leveled, so there's no big divider in between the shades, so it does kind of jump from one shade to the next, like this one and right here. I hope you can see that. Let me bring that closer. So you can kind of see it there and up there. And the matte shades do get a little chunky, especially when you use your finger, but that's really, you know, nothing major. But other than that, this is a real pretty cool tone Sweden landscape palette. Now let's do some comparisons with the other palettes that I have. This one's the Remembrance palette. The one came last year. And you know, let me go back into the cons with this palette. Actually, with all the palettes, is just the mirrored packaging, because it does get dirty. Now it's really dirty, and you saw from the beginning, didn't have that many fingerprints, but now, like what I said, it doesn't bother me because it just shows that it's been used. I know some people don't, you know, like the fingerprints, which is fine, but that's something to consider about with these palettes. But let's go back to the Remembrance palette. This one's more pinky and orangey shades. It's kind of light too. Let me go ahead and put it next to Mineralscapes. You can see they're 2 totally different palettes. Probably even use both together at the same time. Now I don't see any similarities between these 2 palettes. If anything, it would probably be these 2 shades in the corner right there. This is from Mineralscapes and this one's from Remembrance. So yes, a little bit similar, but this one's a little bit more grayer in tone than this one. So you can kind of see it's chunky there. This one has a little bit more purple to it. Let me try the matte shade Sun Dried. Let me just put you here. And then let me try this shade number 3. That's what I liked about the names in this palette. It's easy to remember. Oh yeah, different shades. I think that's about it. So let's go to the year before last year, 2 years ago, Flora Kalahari palette with a pretty rose. And here's what this palette looks like. A little bit brighter than Remembrance. And then let me just put it next to Mineralscapes. I know the glare here. Different shades, different palettes. So in this one, the Flora Kalahari, there's not that many matte shades like Mineralscapes. I believe there's 3, but let me try this shade. And with the one from last year, Remembrance, that one had 7 matte shades in that one. Now, see, when you swatch it, you sometimes will go into the shade next to it. Okay, now this shade looks like the one from last year's palette, not from this year's palette, Mineralscapes. Now, I do want to try this green shade from Flora Kalahari, because that's what first thing that my mind went to when I saw Mineralscapes. So this is from 2 years ago. Flora Kalahari, and then let's just swatch these 2. Yeah, 3 different shades. This one has more of a bronzy gold shade, where these are more, you know, more of the true green spectrum there. And then let's go into this blue shade. You hear my hand. There we go. And let's go into 2 blue shades from Mineralscapes. So yeah, these are a little bit more brighter, and this one's more kind of subdued, and it has a little bit more sparkles to it. So if you have any of the other 2 palettes, there is another palette that came out 3 years ago, but I didn't pick that one up because that was just a little too colorful for me. Can't remember the name of it, but if you have any of the 2 palettes that I have, not many shades compares to this one. And of course, I did forget to mention about the cover of it. It has the minerals on there, very pretty, hence the name Mineralscape. Really do like this cool tone palette. Really not a cool tone girl, but I can see myself using several of these shades, many shades, actually all of the shades here. And the lipstick, I did not retouch the lipstick, still not drying, it's not sucking the life out of my lips, and it's still showing pretty good color. It does, you know, kind of shows my wrinkles, but if I want to kind of smooth it out, I'll just put a gloss. But some days you don't want a gloss. So far, the lipstick's pretty good. Got some lipstick on my tooth too. Oh. Well, all right, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video of me trying the new Byredo Mineralscapes palette. And thank y'all so much for understanding of why I was a little late with putting this video up. Thank you so much. So if you liked and enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you can see more videos like this. And you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.